Thanks for choosing this podcast from Adventures in the Lomonian Universe. Don't hesitate to follow and like and share our podcast with anyone who might be interested in fantasy role-playing or entertaining stories. Welcome, Becky.
Hi, Becky.
The devotional today is in 1 Peter 1:4. It says, in the middle of the sentence, to obtain an inheritance which is imperishable and undefiled and will not fade away, reserved in heaven for you. Here's what we got, at least in part. We got an inheritance from God that lasts forever. If it's real, there's no losing it. It's precious, even priceless. He determined to get it to us. He paid for it and selected us, and now because of amazing grace, we have it. It belongs to us now, but is reserved for us in heaven. That makes a lot of sense, really, because everything decays here. Even this place will essentially go away in time, replaced by a better version, redeemed to be eternal and perfect as part of the heaven and of the new heaven and the new earth. When that happens, we shall have it, and those who do not will be nowhere among us. There is no doubt we got the better deal. Okay.
That's a weird looking drink. Would be a very weird drink.
Very nice.
Decided to dress like
It's like a person. Well, what else would you dress like? A dog costume? All right.
Actually, I think this podcast that I discovered sounds pretty fun.
When last we broke, the party was digging itself out from underneath a collapsed castle. The castle. What?
James is here.
Yep.
I'm not the latest.
I'm telling him he has to do the devotional later. I said, we'll tell him he has to do the devotional later. All right. Anyway, we did role play through a sort of postmodern, disconnected storyline involving the bathtub, the mystery of which has still not yet been fully revealed, as if it perhaps may never be fully revealed. But somehow or other, it played into the subliminal messaging to Ryan to redistribute coins, which saved the party's existence, literally. What it did not do was save the castle, because a great deal of damage was done to the castle, it kind of in its underbelly, in the midsection between it and the keep. In theory, there were probably others who were buried in the rubble, and so the party was spending some time extricating themselves.
So we need your mirror.
And then, yes, sir, that's fine.
Wherever. Tom's having a bite.
And so having extricated yourself from the fallen rubble, you then felt, many of you anyway, felt compelled to save others who were buried. The apparently very, very, very old white dragon, who had been either masquerading as, or perhaps actually was, the longtime advisor, royal advisor / general in the castle previously, escaped, having been the one who breathed on the party.
So
Yeah. There was no real way to pursue him, so he has left the building. And time is spent recovering yourselves, your equipment, your other innocent bystanders, that kind of thing. And Bella did basically not get buried in the rubble, and also joined in basically organizing the people of the castle. But there are monstrous sizes sections of stone that will require rigging, crane-like or block and tackle in large numbers, that kind of thing, to sway up. Some pretty good sized pieces can be lifted that might not normally be able to, because you have amongst the group, you have some very strong individuals, especially Leon, who is strong as a giant, literally. And so some time passes while that's all being organized and so on. If anyone wanted to just kind of like separate themselves and get away from the immediate like recovery of the rubble and accomplish anything, we can do that. Otherwise, we're gonna kind of fast forward through that like a montage. Here's this person picking up a rock. Here's this person rescuing a fallen.
I'd probably be doing triage.
Close, yeah.
yeah, probably triage. But is this like into like the next day?
It will be going into that. It will be going into the morning that the part you were headed toward. It's really early in the morning already. Like the event took place at like a couple hours before dawn. They don't have dawn because they don't have the sun, but before light up.
If there is a time that I am not needed, Dorkian and I had talked about the possibility of checking out the Wind Mage's room upstairs.
Okay.
Is he even still there?
Yeah. So that part of the castle does stand, and in theory is accessible, but the normal way of getting there is not standing.
I mean, we could always fly up there and go through a window.
Yeah, in theory, although one who enters through a window usually encounters
not
whatever
into that room, into the hallway outside.
Yeah,
we're not just going to bust
or
through the door.
Well, no, I mean like a place that people are not necessarily welcome could have security or that kind of thing.
Traps.
Yeah, traps. So
I think they're a little busy.
I was referring to like magical traps
Yeah.
and such. Caution would be indicated.
Right.
Okay.
I believe there was indication of that on the door. When
Oh,
we looked at it.
So pretty sure.
I was talking about the hallway to get to the doorway.
Yeah, pretty sure that the majority of the time that you're doing the rubble, probably Dorkian and probably you as well will be involved in.
I do have a pass wall in
Rescuing, rescuing, magically
pass
rescuing, moving things that magically, not only that, but the commoners in general are not overly bright, and so they need guidance, and there's about 200, 300 of them working,
Or
and so,
self-motivating.
yeah. Well, they are now more self-motivating than they were before. They seem to have slipped free from the malaise after he fled.
What's the weather like outside now?
Still covered in snow. Everything's covered in snow. Yes.
I also have a Lehman secure shelter if we need an indoor triage space. That's like.
Yeah. Probably not, because there are adjoining spaces that didn't collapse. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, the point is that couple of hours approaching dawn
Brian would probably just
slips away quickly.
do like just watch everyone kind of carefully, watch suspicious behavior,
Can you disintegrate
someone not being where
stone?
they're supposed to be, that kind of thing.
You can if it is disconnected from anything else. You can't if it's part of something else, like you can't disintegrate put a hole in the wall with disintegrate because it's part of the building. You'd have to disintegrate the whole building.
Like it was just a giant boulder that needed to move.
Within reason, yeah. Giant being somewhat limited. 3 times a man basically would be the
I
maximum.
can pass wall through
Higher than anything in this
rubble
room.
if
I
necessary.
would say probably 10th level. I mean, the spell had 10th level.
The most useful spell that I have is probably the pass wall. Item rubble.
Okay. Anyways, so just to kind of recap a couple of things we haven't played in a while. So one, remember the high priest is dead.
Poor Noon.
And
I liked Noon.
now maybe you think it might have had something to do with the dragon.
Almost certainly.
Like he might have personally done it, or one of his people might have done it. I'm not sure which one.
If I get the opportunity to break away from the triage, I would look for the prayer rug.
Okay, so the part of the palace that includes the sanctuary did not collapse.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Now
That's
this is
why
more
Ella
in the
was
middle.
fine, because we had
Yeah.
read the sanctuary.
This is more of like
Found it.
near where it connects with the keep.
Would it be worth trying to, like, be ascending or something, get a message to Heronius and let him know what happened?
That's a judgment call on your part. Do you want to do that before or after the montage?
Probably.
The question
Not that I
is,
think he's actually going to come back because I've lost most faith in him, but he probably should know that
He is fighting the Dracolich.
Well,
kind of.
we were told by the Dracolich that he was off fighting the Dracolich.
not the Dracolich. Remember, the person that just breathed on you is not the Dracolich.
Okay.
It is
I didn't
an
realize that he
ancient,
wasn't the
I
very,
spoke
very
to him
old
before
white
he left,
dragon.
and he's going to fight the Dracolich.
That's what he
based on
said.
information
From
well,
Heronius, his mount.
Heronius said he was
No,
going
right. I'm just saying,
to kill the dragon.
did the guy who was here guide
Stop him
Heronius
somehow.
to take a certain
Oh, yeah,
action
right.
based on the fact that Heronius is not apparently very wise.
Yeah, so he could have sent him in the wrong direction or things like that. Yeah, all those are possibilities. Right now, so let's clarify that. So what Taya can tell you very clearly, what she saw was for lack of a better term, gargantuan white dragon. It was not a bone creature of any kind. It did not look like a dragon lich. It was a living being. So she saw the white dragon image behind the person. So it was overlapping the walls. It was way too big to fit in the building, basically. Once he blasted out the walls, which would have meant that most people would not have seen it, he launched up and flew into the sky and was a dragon at that point, not a man. And not a Dracolich, but a dragon. And so whether you saw it or not, surely somebody saw it and realized he was an actual very, very large white dragon. Maybe one of the largest you've ever seen.
Did anyone see the rat?
Not in this party, I don't think. No, that was the uprising party.
I can't remember if we saw him in the retreat. With
No.
That group retreat or not.
No, they didn't go to his. They were kind of on the other side of the conflict, as a matter of fact. They were dealing with the.
Would transmute rock to mud make things worse?
Properly used, probably not. Like
Mud
there
makes
definitely
sense
are
to
moments in which you could say, okay, well, we need to clear this out of the way to get that person or that kind of thing.
Okay. Because I'm willing to cast it out of.
And even then, like say, if they were pinned under 2,000 pounds of rock and it was properly propped or whatever, if you turn it into mud, then you just get them out of there before they drowned. It's still better than being trapped under huge volumes of rock.
I also have 2 of those now.
Oh, okay. So, for sake of role playing, during the montage, we'll say you use your rocks to mud, so you can mark those off, and then I'll give a bonus of experience for both of you for having used your resources in that effort. You don't have to mark off the pass wall, though.
Oh, and I have the Caswell scroll.
Yeah, you don't have to mark that
Sorry.
off either. Yeah. So, okay, so the montage of rescuing. We do have Ryan as a small person.
Yeah.
Okay, snooping, perimeter security, looking for strange behavior, that kind of thing. Maybe even go off and check and see if like certain key areas of the castle might be getting in, like
Yeah. 'cause
in
there's
somebody
a lot
getting in there
seems to be
as
a
a
lot of
distraction.
people disguised too.
Yeah, so in case somebody was maybe this whole thing was a distraction or something like that. And in the montage, at least, you don't find anything. Okay. Roughly about the same time it begins to get light outside, two things happen. The first thing is the report is that all of the snow and ice is melting off. Like the temperature outside has come up to be more like close to 50 degrees, and the frigid wind has died off, and is definitely warming up. And so the who knows how far wide mess of Arctic winter. You can download our app in the App Store. The app is called Life, the number 4, Toledo. Life for Toledo. Is rapidly melting off. Reports of flooding in the lowlands, but you know, it is what it is. Okay. And then a lot more people have kind of like come up out of the caverns. Also, right around dawn time, I said 2, but I actually thought of another one. There are people that are arriving bringing assistance. And so there are people coming from outside, and basically it just becomes the outer areas and the keep, etc., are becoming extremely active. There are tons and tons of people that you don't know, bringing wagons and resources and horses, and there even so you see the occasional scene of families reunited, and it's almost like joy is creeping in, or some kind of resilience is the general morale of the castle. And at about that time, as everything gets bright, Hieronymus returns to the keep. He comes flying on the wings of an angel, and he's just a little beat up. He's got some scratches and bruises and that kind of thing. But as he flies up over the area of the middle of the keep, that kind of big yard area that was in front of the keep and outside the main doors. It's where the ghouls were standing in the very beginning. It's where Victor almost died fighting the Dracolich, all that kind of thing. That big area. He flies up over it. The sunlight is radiating off of him. It's like he's bouncing off of the silvery, sparkly wings. And he bellows in a bold voice. He says, "I am victorious! The Dracolich is destroyed!" And the cry of people all across the keep, it's a little mottled, but basically everyone's like, "Yay, yay, no more Dracolich." And then he says, "What goes on?" As he notices that a huge section of the castle is destroyed. And he swoops in to begin to interact with, in particular, Bella, who's risen to be in charge at the moment. Needless to say, he is, or at least appears to be, aghast at the possibility that the long-time advisor of the castle from hundreds of years ago was actually an ancient evil white dragon. And you think that he would like leap right back into the air and go hunt the dragon down, except he does have a considerable concern for his people and for the castle. So, okay? That's how he comes across. Okay? All right. So it is now daytime. The worst of your being tied up with the extricating the citizens who were trapped. So they're still finding the occasional dead person, basically, but you know, they're really beyond that time in which they expect to find anybody alive. And they've done quite a bit as far as like clearing pathways, clearing the halls, that kind of thing. Leon has broke a sweat for the entire 2 hours picking up rocks that nobody else can pick up, and then enlisting a few strong souls, some of you, and really Victor and Taya, and like that, to lift rocks that would be, I mean, it's just impossible. We're talking about 2,000-pound stones moved out of the way and things like that. So, But Heronius is back, and we seem to be not needed. Now, the last direction that you received from him was that you're free to go. Of course, things did go kind of yucky. Yeah, things did go kind of yucky had you not been here. Then again, had you not been here, they would just be under the control of the ancient white dragon. Right.
With his own friend.
Right. Okay. So, what do you do? Amelia has not come back. You expect her any time now, like literally any time. Within the next hour or two. Assuming she let out like, before dawn, which would be So your possible exits previously were the apparently interloper ancient white dragon was going to point out a few possible portals off of Ravenloft that would allow you to get back to the planetary plane and then from there work your way on. Right, and I just had said previously that she knows one, however it leads to the Pan Reach. And she did say she has limited knowledge of what transpired while she was controlled, I guess you'd say, possessed. But there is a very sinister power at work in the Pan Reach, and going that way could provoke an answer. So just something to be aware of. And then there's the archway, which is in the dungeon here, has not yet been explored, but it is believed to be a portal to the elemental plane of air. And Dorkian did say that he is fairly certain that he could take you through the elemental plane of air back to the prime material plane, with this caveat, where on the prime material plane might be a little out of control. Like you might not have any control over where you appear to be 100,000 light years away, for example. Yeah, different planet. All of which he feels like is, not insurmountable by any means. Wherever you show up, you should show up somewhere safe. You could teleport to theoretically. Say that again.
I said if I was able to regain the spark plane ship,
yeah, in theory. I've never done it, but it should be doable. Yeah. I think the only elemental plane.
No, we're on the farm right now.
Yeah, I don't think Lorelai has been to any other elemental plane, right? You can go to the water plane, right? Yeah, their launches are maybe. Also, yeah, that proposes another possibility. The other possibility previously discussed, which was not discussed when Heronius was saying it was time for you to just go, but previously had been discussed, is that when you go through the portal from his rest chamber into that temple, it is theoretically on the prime material plane. It was just a hint of question about timing, right? It's weird. So would it be in the present day is the question. So each of them proposes a little bit of difficulty. Something, divining the truth of one of those matters might help a lot. Like, okay, if we go this way, can we do this? For example, would I be able to plane ship from there? For example, would I be able to, would be 1,000 years in the past or something if we go there, or would we be in the same timeline? Right, so those are options. So just need to decide what you want to try to do. Heronius has not come looking for you or you've seen him a number of times since he returned. He had a good conversation with Bella, and then he went to go check. Last he was headed was to go check on Noon's body. So he seemed very put out by the fact that Newton was dead.
Well, yeah, he lost his eye pretty sure.
His own eye,
Yeah.
theoretically. He just got him back too.
It's gonna take a lot to bring him back. If he can come back.
Right.
Or did we find out whether Bella did kill herself, or was it somehow thing? Or has it even been discussed?
She is alive now. It has not been discussed since then. Something changed. So I'm thinking,
And the last thing she said before she passed back out was, "You saved me?"
yeah.
Well, yeah, right, but if things have changed, things like that.
So you mean attempted? Are you asking, did she attempt?
Yeah, did she do it, or was it?
Oh, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, so.
Because I have a doubt that it might have been staged.
Yeah.
Or that somebody had been.
Pretty sure it comes from that.
No, so it was
Over.
it was more like coercion, like she was,
Needlessly
yeah.
muscular.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Magically put into depressive state.
No more red candles.
Right. Correct.
Candles are meant to be white.
Yeah, so she was like coerced or
I mean, everyone had a weird.
it's affecting everybody.
And it could have just been like. The
Except for you
dragon.
guys, most of you guys are okay.
I mean, of being properly attracted. World around it.
Most of them just have dragon fear, but when you get to the point of being very old and beyond, you start getting like lair effects, like wherever you are, which usually those things are bestowed by Tiamat or Bahamut, usually Tiamat, like wherever you are, something happens, just by your presence.
If we find the appropriate way to word it, I could probably see.
Taya does not agree, right? Taya doesn't spell at all, so it would be Lorelai. You're the
I mean,
only
how many options we had?
Very rare.
You have to like.
spell. It's a power.
Oh.
You'd have to like compare. How many
I'm saying if we,
So are you
Say, for
gathering to
instance-
discuss this then, at least in brief?
Yeah, I guess we're getting together to discuss this.
Are you attending the discussion?
Exhausted.
Okay.
for instance, if we thought that the easiest course would be to use the portal downstairs in the sanctuary, because that would take us directly to the planetary plane. We just don't know what it's current day.
Ask an either or question, right?
Yeah.
Should we use the portal into the temple, or should we use the portal to only
That one's kind of vague.
It will achieve the result of what Hecate thinks you should do rather than what is best.
Right.
In other words, like, for example,
If she wants
say
us
there
to
was
be
an
in the
acolyte
past,
of Hecate that's a 14-year-old girl, and she's currently encased in a, what do you call it, like a sleep, and you're going a certain way would result in you bumping into her and rescuing her, then she'll say go that way, for example. So it's personal, opinions are personal agenda.
so the
Driven.
or one on that would be.
I mean, I would just narrow it down to
Will the portal into the temple take us back to our
Timeline.
proper
time.
timeline on the prime material plane?
if the answer is no, then we go through planet air, we go through something else.
I mean, you could petition
just
Heronius
ask
for
and then see
more
what-
assistance or aid. Mind you, he maybe owes you, but he definitely didn't seem like he was acting that way.
I mean, we could just ask that.
Do we even know if he just wants us to still leave, or if that was a coercion type thing also?
I don't know. He wants us to leave.
Regardless,
We're leaving?
you need to leave.
Or if he knows we want to leave, one or the other.
We would stay here forever.
That or he knows we want to leave, then he's like, you can get out this way. He's kind of lazy.
I don't see any other overarching objectives here.
I mean, there's the royal yacht.
The atonement's complete, so.
There's the weird royal yacht thing going on.
Although I will profess to leave it without knowing.
If there's a royal yacht, driving at Adventure
It'd be
Island,
nice to
state
know
governor.
about 100% as well.
That's, getting home is key.
Getting home, reuniting with Millie,
Okay.
and bringing back to life Wilmington's son. Well, you could take Wilmington's son.
The same way we normally do.
As far as you know, she's human.
She hasn't been dead too long, so.
Yeah, not even 2 days.
Now for essence
They
is
have-
different somehow.
I think I have written items still, don't I?
This
She'll
is
stay in there
where
for a long time.
I hate our past, because you can't even ask a question like, if we go through the portal in the basement, will we arrive at on the correct time? Because what is correct?
Or at a timeline that is relative to the timeline, a certain amount of time from we've been there before.
Will we go back to
Relative?
the timeline that you took us from?
Relative,
Yeah.
1,000 years?
Within a month of the
Day
time
that-
period we were there last.
Within a month of calendar month of the day we left.
You could ask something like that.
She doesn't. I mean, unless she has some reason to be upset.
She
Yeah.
brought us here, I atoned, we're good now.
As far as you know.
You can download our app in the App Store. The app is called Life, the number 4, Toledo. Life for Toledo.
Because
No,
again,
I got the tingle. The atonement's done.
unless she has
When I saved her from
other
in the
needs of
bath,
our
it's done.
abilities.
Right.
She got the tingle.
I got the tingle.
Yeah, tingle me.
Yatongo.
All of that we went through leading up to saving her in the bath was just for fun.
Well, all those events had to take place to get her in the bath.
Yes.
Which means this is all Lorelei's fault.
No difficult task.
Just saying.
No, this
Everything-
is Taya's fault.
Everything to the moment that you rescued her, from the moment you cast atonement to the moment
You
that
did
you
ask
rescued
her.
her and succeeded
You
in your
had to
atonement,
guess.
could easily be attributed to your atonement. In somebody's eyes. In the more direct.
And okay, we'll roll it back.
Go further back than that?
We'll go for it. We'll roll it back a little bit. So without my atonement,
Yeah,
Heronius would still be a nappy time.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
The rest of the inhabitants would be ghouls.
yep.
The Dracolich would take over.
So what you're saying,
My atonement
in a lot of
actually
words.
saved
Right.
all of these
what you're
people.
saying in a lot of words is that Hecate had some reason that she wanted you to come here,
Yes.
save this people, Heronius, and by extension, Bellamore.
You just happened to
One
ask
more.
her for a favor, and so then you didn't have a choice.
Well, if you hear Heronius talk about it,
Yeah.
they were
I'm going
playing
to-
cards
Right.
and he won me in a bet.
A bit blunt here. I don't care at this point.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm cranky, and none of this is leading towards home and resolving it.
Okay, Shipton's all done.
What is the question?
Well,
Is there a question in there somewhere?
it was the very beginning of it.
Was the Zala? Zala is a question.
Well, using the portal in the sanctuary take us back to the time that we left to come here.
No.
We need a different option.
I mean, we got
You're-
the player nerds.
You're
We
pretty
know them.
sure that if it had been even days, she would have
Yeah.
been fine. She would have said yes. The inference
the
is that
gist
it's
of-
much more different than that.
Yeah, the gist of what our Lorelai was asking was the general
Yeah.
time frame, knowing that days or whatever had passed here.
When you get a certain number of levels of cleric, your deed, you can read your inferences.
When you're that powerful, they kind of know what you need.
That's a general rule. She probably wants to keep a good relationship with Lorelei because you're probably up there in the top 10 most powerful priests of Hecate ever. So she doesn't want to lose her necessarily.
Yeah, she can get
She
a
just
few
has
more
to smack me in line sometimes. In game, it's the second atonement I've ever had to do.
I have been nothing but nice to that woman.
I mean, she saved me, I saved her, we got this relationship going on.
Okay.
Okay.
So no, we need a different way. It will be a different time. Using the portal in the basement. In the sanctuary.
So that leaves air, pan reach, or other option.
The whole party did. It's where you fought the Aboleth.
Yeah, that's where we bought the Aboleth. We just didn't use it to go to that version of Owen.
You never left the temple. You came right back out the portal, basically.
But basically, that temple will take us to a word, but we don't know.
There were inferences previously that it may have been something weird at the time because when you look, you could hear chanting when you look to the look through the portal normally. It seemed like the temple was alive and active. Then when you went through the portal, which Dorkian originally teleported, didn't actually go physically through the portal, he teleported in there. And when you do that, apparently the temple is dead and the high priests were imprisoned and like that. So there was some question of time, not the time didn't connect.
So.
Okay. Plan B.
And we're sure we can just walk back up and
Pretty sure.
Did you say we're sure we can't?
I said,
Are we
more
sure?
asking the question.
Iphis will say she's pretty sure. So you didn't actually enter through a portal. You came through the mists, essentially. And the mists are the borders of Ravenloft, and they tend to kind of drift from place to place. And so, for that matter, the journey in the mist tends to be pretty much one way. In theory, if you wander around Ravenloft long enough, you'd wander somewhere else. And Ravenloft tends to overlap with the astral, ethereal, and prime plane very closely. And so, we're probably, if we knew how, it wouldn't take as much as we're making it out to be to get home. But we don't know how. What about Iphis says, what about a locate object?
What would we be located?
Point of exit? Well, the chances are slim because it won't be known to us. But if we're looking for a point of exit to the prime plane and the person casting the spell knows the prime plane because that's where they're from, then the chance might be a little better. It would only reach a certain distance. We don't want to leave the castle because surely there's not any way inside the castle.
Okay. Is the exit
3 tries.
into the pan reach like in control of someone? Is it a building that someone owns or an area that somebody is actively living in? Or...
So my memory of coming back that way is vague, but I recall arriving in a few different places, not always in the exact same place, but always in the Pan Reach, as if it was blocks apart or even miles apart inside the city. But I know that I was definitely in the service of somebody who had the ability to know when I came and went, and so my guess is to arrive there via the portal might provoke attention. That was the only reason I mentioned it before, is he is subtle, but ruling with an iron hand. So he's ruling without anyone knowing it at this point.
So the question there would just simply be, if we determined how quickly could we exit here?
As if we're like teleport right away.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we were ready to teleport right away upon coming through, we'd be pretty safe. Dorkian says, you should consider the fact that my teleport may be affected somehow. Something is going on. I don't know what it is exactly. I think it has to do with the Mages Guild in Greyhawk. So when I teleport, strange things seem to be happening.
When did this start?
Right before we arrived here. It's how we all somehow got together. It's how the storyline that we were living was disturbed. I teleported to Greyhawk. I returned. When I returned, I was with all of you, essentially entering Ravenloft, which was not my intention.
No, that could have nothing to do with your teleport, because
Except
how
today
we
was bringing
got
us
to where
here.
we
Except
were.
that essentially all of the time between the time that I teleported and the time that I arrived with you, my memory was erased.
As were all of ours, in terms of how we got to where we were.
I would love to think that it has nothing to do with me, but I'm telling you, I have a feeling. Now, my feeling may tie into Hecate. I believe it's someone powerful, magical in Greyhawk that is messing with me, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's Hecate. Although I find it unlikely that I am even on her radar, other than my association with you. That's bad choice. On her far vision.
So then, truly, it doesn't matter where we go on the prime material plane. We may have to walk home, essentially.
If you're going to count on me for transport, what you can count
I
on.
can teleport, she can teleport, we can get us where we need to
If
go.
his magic is being affected, how do we know that yours won't?
Because mine's divine.
I haven't had any crazy things happen with my spells yet.
It's only my teleport. Everything else I've cast
Casting
is
magic
normal.
all day. Just as expected.
I'm just saying.
We could test the theory here before leaving, I suppose, but just burn through more spells.
We're not on the prime material plane. We don't know if it's universal or. In fact, it's highly unlikely that it's universal.
So this is
maybe that's. I mean, that would be if it were affecting the farthest reaches of the prime material plane and all the other planes. That's.
It's more likely to be tied to a person or people.
Or a location or a word.
Here's an interesting thought. I'm just throwing this out there, my planner knowledge kicking in. The fact that a portal to Ravenloft was so nearby, my teleport could somehow have been affected by the boundaries of Ravenloft, and I could have been drawn in. I was coming all the way from Greyhawk, so I could have been drawn into the portal to Ravenloft rather than arriving where I intended. Which would mean that the difference in my location might not have been something that is affecting my teleport so much as the nature of the plane of Ravenloft. However, I'm telling you, I'm fairly certain that the time distortion somehow is connected to my teleporting to Greyhawk and back. It may be as simple as there's somebody in the Mages Guild of Greyhawk that is messing with us.
I can understand again how your teleport might have affected you.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how it would have affected the rest of us.
I understand.
Now, that being said, admit don't know anything. But the key point is getting to the prime material plane does not necessarily mean a quick trip home.
Right.
And as to your teleport,
I would be willing to try it.
Across the planets with yours? Is it
No, but no, it is not without error.
So then.
We would have to be there,
We would have to be on Earth.
correct.
But even there, if it's something that's affecting teleport in general, or magical, who knows?
What's your cube spell not take you from
It's one cube doing it. It's specific to that plane.
From what I understand, the spell, it's just specifically for the cubes in that plane. Never tested it.
Still need a copy or two.
Give me a few days of peace and quiet and I'll get you one.
I can't give you what I don't have. Okay.
So,
Air to
question,
prime material plane. Or sorry, you had a question.
I have a question for you.
Yes, go.
When you plane shift, so say it's possible to go from air to a work on the prime material.
Mm-hmm.
Do you choose where you end up on a work?
Within reason, yeah.
Okay.
You can read the description of the spell.
That's what I'm looking at.
I know in later games it lets you like go or let the weird designate.
Yeah, so it's either going to be the corresponding, like the closest connecting point to where you are, or where you're thinking of. And that's going to largely have to do with how far apart the planes are. If you're plane shift from prime material to like ethereal, astral, like that, you're going to go to the connect. New Heights is a church that believes in reaching new heights in Jesus. Everyone's on a journey. Let's all work together to take the next step. Connecting point, and also, like, it's virtually impossible to pick a spot on the ethereal plane because it doesn't have spots.
Right.
Yeah, it's ethereal by nature, yeah. And astral's is kind of similar way, like if you pick a spot floating in space, for example. Now, if you picked a spot on an asteroid that doesn't have a prime material kind of atmosphere or whatever to it, then you could probably do something like that.
I think I'm gonna go find this real quick.
Okay. All right. So she is about to go off to find Heronius. Does anyone else need to do anything else in that same time frame? Less than an hour. And you got up, and then for those of you who rest and got spells back and stuff like that, you got up like in the middle of the night, so you haven't been up for
It's been
6 or 8 hours.
It's been 24 hours since you caught that metal golem thing.
Metal golem thing in the
In the hole. I got the poison.
no. No, that was like at the beginning of the long night. So you're talking about maybe 10 hours, 10, 12 hours. Okay, so
I think I'm just gonna have a seat here and think.
okay.
Or sleep, depending on which one comes first. Wake me when we have made the decision, or making a decision, or my input is important.
Okay. Alrighty. So you will find Heronius, Bellanumor, and Noon, and another young acolyte in the sanctuary, in his sleep room, basically where he rests. And he has placed Noon in the bed in which he normally sleeps and overcomes his disease or whatever. And
Would you like me to accompany you?
It's up to you.
I'll roll with that.
Not stuff
Okay.
for that.
I
So
don't
the-
need protection if that's what you're thinking.
I didn't know if you wanted to have a conversation about somebody else or not.
That's why I have endurance.
All right. So as you step up to the door, it's open. Look inside. You see the same room as before. You see the beautiful mural on the wall. Roll it 22.
1.
Okay. So you notice that the time of the mural flows from left to right, and you notice that there is a fairly large scene that is about maybe 10 inches by 14 inches of Heronius fighting the Dracolich on there. Interestingly enough, your eye is drawn, as you're looking at it, to an earlier battle where Heronius is fighting what appears to be a large white dragon. It's probably like, based on the story, what you see, it's probably decades ago. Okay. Bella steps back, and the acolyte and Heronius are still standing over the bed where Noon is sleeping, and she comes to you. And she almost a sort of a conspiratorial tone, a little bit of excitement in her voice. She says, "Laura, what's up?"
I have a question to ask Heronius.
They are trying to see if they can revive Noon by mystical means, if it will be possible. Should know in a few moments. Would you care to join?
Sure. I'd like to. Instead of studying the mural on the wall while we're doing that.
Okay. Roll it to 20.
17.
Okay. So you right away notice the relatively new image of him fighting the Dracolich. And as you scan across the wall, you not only see the image of him fighting the White Dragon, which has got to be pretty old, it goes pretty far back, but on top of that, you see in the middle of the whole mural, so figure like there are probably 300 images. It's not, and they're overlapping, more like a collage. You see an area where there's a lot of dark colors used, like gray, navy blue, black, metal, like dull gray, like an iron color almost, in the picture. But in the middle of that is a cave. And there's the image of what might be Heronius, considering the mural seems to be all about him, standing in the cave. And there's a yellowish light inside the cave that's in front of him, and you're seeing him from the back as if he entered the cave. Now, tracing a direct connection to like where it goes next, because there is just a timeline that flows from left to right. You can't really say for sure, but you kind of look at the mural and you look up. Okay, they're up here. Heronius is doing good deeds. It's like alms to the poor. And then see a battle with him, part of a huge force of men fighting another huge force. And the distance that has tattered banners, kind of might be undead or a dark army. And you see him doing construction work as if he's helping build the castle. And so there's no, like, you see him going in the cave kind of in the middle, and then none of those pictures sort of fit. If anything happened in the cave or anything came of the cave or anything next. It's just peculiar. Stands out. Most of the time, like, you see an image and the next thing, you're like, okay, you could trace it. You can say, well, it's kind of like that is next. That might be next. That might be next. And even though...
Do I know where on this timeline he became then God and what?
I mean, not really, for sure.
That could be the point.
Maybe.
Time.
Could be.
Let's study the battle of him fighting the white dragon from before and see if there's any indication that it's the same white dragon.
Well, unfortunately, you didn't see it. Taya saw it. From what she described, it very well could be. I mean, it's just a big white dragon. But it does look, in the picture, it doesn't look as big. Very much so. He did, very much so.
He may not have known the human form.
More likely, you know that the human form of the white dragon had a connection with a giant, with it being the white dragon, because he said he knew the man. He was an advisor of his of the royal family from some time back, and that he had showed up to offer his services under these very arduous times. Basically, I mean, he just could have well been in an extremely good disguise, perhaps, especially because Heronius doesn't seem real perceptive about such things, but on top of that, you may not have seen him for a long time. So,
Or he never saw the white dragon that he fought previously in his human form.
right.
Or could he have even
Oh, yeah.
changed into human form?
Right. Well, that's the question. And so white dragons, at a younger age, what you know of white dragons is they do not tend to be particularly bright or generally able. White dragons generally able to turn into human form. There are dragon lords.
Later after that.
There are dragon lords in the legends or whatever of every color, and they can equally operate as man or beast. And they will tend to operate as man or elf or whatever their humanoid form is, because they age faster that way, which brings their life to shorter. They have a shorter total lifespan, but they get to powerful more quickly. And so they will. Some of them, especially if they have a greed or covetous nature, they will do that to get the advantage. Okay. Anyway, so you step up, and basically what they're doing is they're praying. Heronius actually stepped to the right, and so you have a spot to stand between him and Bella Numor. They're praying over top of the body of Noon, and they're pretty well muttering. Can't always tell what they're saying, but they will occasionally voice a distinct prayer for a specific miracle to bring Noon, either bring Noon back to life or bring him to a point that he can be brought back to life. So you know from a little bit when you talked to Bella before that she does not have that ability. She's not anywhere near that powerful. She has royal blood. She is also an acolyte, but she's not anywhere near powerful enough even to cast a raised dead.
Well, I can do those things. Well, Hecate can do those things through me.
Yes. You could if he were not so
If he wasn't
dead. If he were not so dead.
Okay. I will pray with them.
Okay.
Retreating to Hecate.
Alright, so would you kindly roll percentile dice?
Not rudely. Kindly.
I wasn't rude the last
Kindly.
time.
You are disturbing their calm.
56.
Okay. So a moment passes, minute, two, whatever, and you feel like you have said a substantive prayer and asked for what they're asking for. And they generally seem to be kind of like cycling through, like they've done the same thing, prayed, and then like one of them is kind of muttering or quiet and not praying out. And then when you stop, then Heronius actually starts and he prays a heartfelt prayer. It's pretty simple, a few sentences, whatever, and then he goes back to kind of muttering softly. And then the acolyte, who you don't recognize, she's probably like 13, 14 years old, thin, doesn't look to have worked a physical day in her life. Short blonde hair, collar length, fair skin, neatly trimmed eyebrows, that kind of thing. But anyway, she prays a heartfelt prayer, and her voice is soft and sort of, it's almost as if she has a real strong emotional attachment, and she's just begging for Noon to be spared. And
So I think if we linked together and did like a prayer chant.
Yeah, so that's essentially what you're doing. You're just using the prayer rug to do it. So you're increasing. So normally there's a 3% chance for divine intervention, and the prayer rug increases that maybe a little bit, and then the fact that you're all doing it together is potentially, so it might be 5%. It's not a good chance. But there is a spell combined, which the clerics can cast, and every cleric involved has to cast it, and then they add 1 for every cleric after the first. So basically all it does is allow you to potentially cast spells that you normally couldn't cast, or to cast them with higher impact. So if you have 8 clerics, for example, and the highest cleric is 7th level, well, then you can cast a spell as 14th level. So in the book it says there's a limited number of clerics, but I pretty much took that off. So yeah. Okay. Anyway, so the point is, she prays. It's probably been about 2 minutes even for a minute. She prays a heartfelt prayer, very emotional for him, and something is definitely happening. Like you feel a surge of energy, not unlike when you're just completing casting a pretty powerful spell yourself, like a blessing. And a tone rings throughout the room, and the room shakes, dust falls off of ledges, and everyone feels it, including Jasmine.
Just keep going. Something's happening. But keep going.
Yep. And
That's what's going on. Just keep going. We're doing something.
Something is happening. Is it good?
Can I find
I
the
repeat, something
current
is happening.
timeline on the mural and see if anything's changing?
say again.
Looking for the current time on the mural.
You probably can, because you did see the Dracolich fight, so you get pretty close. And the 4 of you are pretty much, head bowed, reverent, whatever. And then after you hear the noise, you look up and you see that there has been a visible impact on the color and damage of the body.
Okay.
All right, you look on the mural, and you see there's an image that is literally still forming. It is of Heronius standing with his left left arm has his shield on, his right arm has his sword in it, and he has shield and sword raised to the heavens. And then you can see a streak of white, still looks like it's forming, come down, and it's striking him, and then there's like embossed rings of radiance coming off of him. Okay. And then after the sound ends, within like about 30 seconds or so, the image is set. And so now it just looks like there's an embossed, kind of like almost like a stroke of lightning comes down, striking him, and then there are rings, concentric rings going out from him, as if to indicate he's received a miracle or empowerment or something like that. Okay, at which point in time, Heronius breaks out in kind of spontaneous praise and says, "Praise the gods, praise them for being with us, praise them for their action." And he reaches down and he grabs Noon's leg, and that doesn't look good. Okay.
Come on, dude, you can do it, buddy.
Okay, so the body stirs, and
This is always the most nerve-wracking part.
yeah, he stirs and even shakes, like he shudders, like he's having a bit of a
I'm trying to
like a
channel
seizure.
good
Yeah, that's what
juju
I
in
was
him.
working.
Come back, Noon.
Not doing good with my words today, apparently. Okay, anyway, he's having a bit of a seizure, and then he turns his head to the side, and when he turns his head to the side, you hear like a cracking noise.
Dude.
And
I mean, you're old as
and
dirt,
he
but
does
dang.
not rise.
Oh.
He broke his own whip.
Oh.
Uh,
Yeah.
Sorry, been there, done that.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, pretty much the only way back from that
That's
is.
how he became a hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Well,
Not doing that again.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
Bella
the
says,
resurrection roll. You
Bella
failed
says-
the system shock.
I fear he is gone, my lord. Praise the gods nonetheless. For they have answered. But where the gods are willing, the spirit of men is weak. He says, the funeral will be Wednesday. He takes a step back off the rug and starts walking toward the door.
But I have a moment. Just a brief moment.
If you can keep up.
Okay. Give me up again.
Okay. What is Jasmine doing during that time then? Heronius and Lorelei appear to be leaving the sanctum in kind of a rush.
That's not very good.
Also, would you roll a d8 for me?
8.
And then roll system shock.
No, it's from the mural thing.
Come on
I
back.
turned away too fast. Probably.
Don't forget to scale those.
8.
What is your con?
It's pretty close.
Do you have the bracers?
I have the dragon bracer.
Just the bracers,
yes.
she's fine.
My con is 1555.
With the bracer? That puts it 1555?
I guess so? Yeah, I think so.
What was your con when you originally generated character? 11?
Yeah.
Your bodybuilding would take forever to get to 16 at that rate.
Yeah.
Or 15.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, thank goodness for the bracers. Okay. Do you have your system shock at 1555 on the character sheet?
This does 91. I don't know for sure if I changed it or not. I think so.
At 12,
It
That's
says
probably right.
91%.
Okay.
12 it's 88 and total. 88
Right.
12.
So you, as you go to step out of the sanctum, you feel dizzy to the point that you stagger in the hallway. Let's see if either of the other people could actually help you. Would help. And the last thing you recall, at least for a moment, is stepping out of the sanctum. Okay. As you're heading off down the hallway after Heronius, you hear a sound like a body falling to the ground behind you. You look.
Yes.
You see Jasmine has passed out in the hallway.
Just wait one moment. Jasmine passed out. I don't know what's going on. I can't leave her passed out, but I also need to speak to you.
He does not stop.
Yep. I knew that was
I
going.
hate that guy. Wish I could drown him in the toilet.
Or a bathtub?
It's very specific. It's very specific. Okay.
Not a bathtub.
You can, but he'll come back
That's
with a
too
vengeance.
No, we just got an avalith to try to like turn him into a ghoul, and then he'll go to night night forever. Crap. Go see what happened to Jasmine. Next time I'm gonna say no. I don't want her.
Okay. She seems to be unconscious. She doesn't have any wounds except for where she just hit her head on the ground.
Start tapping her face. Wake up.
Okay. Make a healing roll.
15.
Okay. You're able to assist some with the bruise that she was, it was swelling pretty good on her head. And, you awaken. And you realize that you're laying on the floor with your head on Lorelei's lap.
Are you good?
So,
Okay. I'm gonna start running after Heronius.
Okay.
I asked if you're good. That
Do
was
you
my
gently
permission.
lower her head to the floor or just like walk out from
Yes,
underneath
I
of it?
gently lower her head. Or
Okay.
push her up or something.
All right.
Just let her head donk off the floor. A lot of things.
I
but
mean, it
not
would have been
that.
funny.
It would have been funny, but I'm trying to be better.
Trying to be a nicer girl. Okay. So, I mean, you do get tended a little bit by Bella and the Acolyte as they come out of the hallway. Oh, what happened? And they try to help you to your feet.
Oh, dear. I guess the effects of studying the timeline.
It could have been something to do with what we were just doing. We brought a lot of power into that room. Maybe it affected you in some way.
Possible.
Okay. So I mean, you feel steady on your feet. Your back is sweaty, but other than that, you feel pretty normal.
Okay.
Can't remember the last time you swooned for no real reason. Okay. So then what are you doing
Feel
then?
anything different with my magic?
No. When you were previous to this, were you wounded?
Yes, a little bit.
Had you already received normal or magical healing? Or her healing, I should say. It's kind of a little bit of both. Okay, so you can actually roll healing then on her.
Actually,
Yeah, because you spent a minute taking care of her.
11. Probably more than enough, I would think.
I'll have to heal her from 1 to 4.
16, 18.
Okay, so you were at what?
Well, I'm at 63 right now. I was at 69 before the combat that we just had.
Okay, so then she gives you. Wait, what is your maximum though?
77. With the bracers.
Okay, so she healed you to the 69 because that's what you took in the recent battle.
Right.
And then you did 16 total?
18.
18 total. And you were at 63. Okay, so she healed you to 77. But you don't feel like you're fully healed. You still feel sore.
It might smart a little bit.
Okay. So fortunately, the pathway from the sanctum to where he was headed was long and winding, and so your delay at Jasmine doesn't really stop you from catching up to him before he gets where he's going. And so you spot him, you run, sort of not very ladylike, down the hallway to catch up to him.
I'm not about being dainty. Right
He
now.
hears the footsteps coming, and he actually stops and looks at you.
I'm trying to find us a way out of here.
Out of where?
Your realm.
You mean to go home?
Right.
Oh, I assume the general did not give you the information you needed regarding portals.
No, we were walking there, then...
So I was wondering how exactly that came about. What motive would he have?
I know what she did, right?
The party hatched a plot that she would find it.
I didn't necessarily agree with anything wrong with it, but yeah. I didn't say anything, so that's just my internal thoughts.
Absolutely.
Silence is acceptance.
Yep.
So,
Alright, so did someone attack him?
no.
Anyway.
I think Taya looked through his disguise and discovered his true essence with her ability. And then, because we were just walking, so. But anyways, do you know if it is possible to plane shift from here to the Prime?
I believe it is not.
Okay.
Nor teleport without error. nor limited wish.
So,
Hence my suggestion that you use one of the portals. I am, I suppose, grateful that you did not take my suggestion when it was proffered. Or had you left, I would have had to discover deceit upon my return, and I do so hate to discover deceit.
you would have also found Bella not in a good way either.
I understand. Apparently, it seems you saved her.
I did.
For that, I am grateful. If you wish, I can make time to show you where a few nearby portals are.
I would appreciate that.
The most likely to take you nearest to your home, I believe.
We want to go as much as you want us gone. I understand your reasoning for wanting us gone.
We have now, I believe, gone far beyond the place I hoped not to arrive at by asking you to leave previously. Which means it doesn't matter to me whether you stay or go at this point.
I would appreciate you showing us the portal. Or portals.
Meet me in the map room in an hour.
Okay.
I will be done with some of the important impending tasks that I must undertake. Enough that I should be able to step away.
I'll go back and collect Jasmine and make my way back up to where Victor was.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what everybody else was doing, so.
Yeah. Mostly they've.
Victor.
What's that?
Meditating with Victor.
Yeah. So, interestingly enough, if you meditate to notice things, you could probably notice peculiarities about him even before he was detected as a dragon. There are things that you didn't look for, and the connection with the snow and ice, which actually was discussed as a layer effect previously. So
Wait, that's quicker than meditating for sleep, right?
so it takes about 15 minutes to go over maybe 4 hours. It's like about an hour and a half to go back 24 hours, which is the maximum distance you can generally go back without pressing yourself pretty hard.
Okay, so I'll work on meditation for the interactions with him.
Okay.
Before I try to meditate for sleep, because who knows how long I'll have before I first have.
Okay. I won't make you roll to get into meditation, but just roll a d20 and we'll check something real quick.
Okay. 17.
Okay. So 4 hours takes you back to pretty much all of your interaction with him. And so one thing does crop up that's peculiar, and that is that when at one point that the party saw him and they were
Came back from you.
they were on the same hallway that he was on or whatever, that he had interactions with a young woman. She was probably in her late teens, early 20s, fair-skinned, almost like maybe with a little bit of elven blood, but maybe a little overly fair-skinned. And she was wearing hood, which a lot of people wore because even the castle was cold at that time, right? So they pretty much blocked all the snow and ice outside, but the temperature of the castle had dropped substantially, so a lot of people were wearing headgear and stuff like that. And she was wearing a hood, but in your remembrance, in your meditation, you can see that she had white hair. And then as she steps away from him, it appears as if he gave her something. And as she steps away from him, you can see her face fairly clearly, and she has what can only be described as a look of contentment on her face, as if she is glad.
If I have any more time left before Lorelai comes to get us, I'll try to see if there were any other times that we saw her, or that I saw her.
Okay. Yeah, so you can work, again, you can go over the whole 4 hours pretty thoroughly in about 15 minutes time. And so, okay, you saw her from a...
Stay tuned for more Lomunian adventures.